Alright, good evening everybody. Happy to see you again. Today's lesson is about city versus country plus 2 or enough. Alright, for our objectives of today's lesson, we've got city versus country. City versus country, or city against country. Alright? Versus means against country. And also, we are going to have something about how to use too. Enough or too much and too many. Alright? And here's a note. You can win an S to be one of our class stars. Okay? Happy? Good? Clear? Perfect. Let's go then. Alright. City versus country. City against country. What's the difference between cities and countries? Now, what you have to do is you are going to listen to Omar and Adil talking to a newspaper reporter about life in the city compared to life in a small town in the country. And you've got two questions here. Which does Omar prefer? And for number 2, which does Adil prefer? And I would recommend it's good to have paper and pen. Paper and pen. Alright? It's good to have paper and pen so that you can listen well to Omar and Adil talking to a newspaper reporter about life in the city compared to life in a small town in the country. And for the first question that you have to answer, which is number 1, which does Omar prefer? Which does Omar like? Prefer means like. Alright? Now, how did you find the listening? How much percent did you understand? Is it 10% or 50% or 5%? What do you think? How much percent did you understand? Amal says 5, Hisham 10, Amal 0%. Oh my God, no single word. Mustafa says 50. Alright. Alright, Amal, try to raise the understanding of yours as you listen to the recorder again. I'm going to play the recorder again. But now we have got here 2 questions. Which does Omar prefer? Or which does Omar like? Anyone? Has any one of you answered question number 1? Give me your answers. Mustafa says that Omar prefers small towns. Amal says city. Alright, what about the rest? What about you, Nawal, Hisham? Give me your answers for question number 1. All right, now give me your answers. Small cities. Small city, Amal says. All right, give me your answers for question number 2. Question number 2. Which does Adel prefer? Which does Adel like? What do you think? Question number 2. Amal says country. Amal says country. Alright, we will see the answers. Hisham says country for question number 2. Now, let's check the answers. Omar prefers small towns. Small towns. Anyone answered this correctly? Omar. Mustafa, let me just check your answer. Let me go back to check your answer. Mustafa, Omar prefers small towns. Perfect. Excellent. And small city, Amal said. Alright, for question number 2, about Adel, he prefers big cities. Big cities, which is Mustafa's answer actually. Adel prefers big cities. Alright. Also, Amal, you said small city, Adel big city. Alright. Yeah, that's correct. So we've got Amal and Mustafa to be our stars for this wonderful answers. Perfect. Now, what you have to do here is to write their preferences. Preferences means things they like. Things they like or prefer. Alright? Things they like or prefer under the names in the table. Here we've got Umar, and here we've got Adel. Preferences here, you've got the environment, which is the sky and the weather, etc. We've got here the pollution. Pollution means smoke and bad smells, etc. Alright, cost, money, alright, transport, and here transport means cars and buses, taxis, etc. Culture, and here we've got shopping and facilities. Now, can you write their preferences here under the names in the table? Can you try? Amal, Mustafa, Hisham, can you try? To write the things they like or prefer under the names and the table? Can you try to do this exercise? Mustafa, you can't hear me? Is my voice clear? Is it clear, please? Is it number 1? Amal, Hisham, is it okay? Perfect. Can you try? Good. Can you try to write their preferences under the names in the table? Environment, pollution, cost, transport, culture, shopping, and facilities. All right, good. Okay. Do you want me to all right, check this answer here. Environment, which is Umar, small towns. Alright, this is for Umar. For pollution, we've got also Umar, small towns. And also another tick under Umar about the coast. Whereas the big cities, which is related to adult, transport, culture, shopping, and facilities. Yes, Rahaf, good to have you. Now, I'm going to play the recorder again, and what you have to do is to mark the categories P if the speaker's opinion is positive, or N if it is negative. So, P, which is positive, means yes. Alright? This is P. Whereas if it's negative, that means it's no. That means it's no if it is N. Alright? So, is it clear? Where you have to mark the categories P if the speaker's opinion is positive, or N if it is negative. Alright? Now, here you have to write the P and the N. The P, positive, which is yes, or N. Alright? So use this table as you listen to the recorder. Clear? Is it okay? Is it clear? All of you? Amal, what's S, Amal? What's that? What does that mean? Does that mean okay? Yes, perfect. Okay. Alright. Thank you for your listening. And I'm going to give you this reading passage to help you check your answers. Alright? Yes, it's okay, Rahaf. This is an article. It's a reading passage that can help you check your answers. Okay? Good? Perfect. Alright, I will try to help you more. I'm going to read the reading passage to you and try to check your answers. Check your answers. This week in lifestyle, we have two very different views on city life compared to life in a small town. Omar Saleh lives in a small town and he thinks the quality of life there is much better than in a big city. In Omar's opinion, a small town is peaceful and it's a clean, safe environment, especially for children. People are very friendly and there aren't too many problems with pollution. And of course, a small town is less expensive than a big city. But Umar says there are some disadvantages to living in a small town. There aren't enough activities for young people. And there aren't many stores and shops. Public facilities aren't very good either. The school in his town isn't big enough to provide everything the children need, and there is no hospital. But Umar says, I like living in a small town and I'm too old to move anyway. Adil Muhammad, on the other hand, says the city is the place for him. The city has the best facilities, schools and colleges, hospitals, etc. It also has excellent shopping malls and department stores. Culturally, the city is wonderful because there are many good museums, art. Culturally, the city is wonderful because there are many good museums, art galleries, and restaurants. There is also plenty of public transport, buses, taxis, the new metro, and the airport is near the city. All right. The last paragraph. Adil says that, of course, there are problems in a big city. There is too much traffic, and it's definitely more expensive than a small town. There is more pollution, and it isn't as clean as the country. But he says he's a city guy, and big cities are wonderful. Have you write your preferences here and the names and the table? How many of you have got the environment here correct? If it's correct for number 1, Amal says me. Perfect. Good. So it's a small towns here for Umar, which is positive. Which is positive. All right. That means yes. And for Adil, the big cities is negative. No. Pollution. How many of you have got it correct? Rahab says me. Perfect. So in the small, also Amal and Mustafa. Perfect. Good. So the pollution here, which is yes or positive for Umar, the small towns, and no or negative for big cities related to Adil. Coast. How many of you got it correct? Coast. Mustafa. Perfect. Amal. All right. Very good. So positive, which is yes for small towns here, and no or negative for the big cities. Transport, how many of you have got it correct? Rahaf, Mustafa, Amal, perfect. All of you got it correct, which is negative here, or N for Omar, small towns, and yes or positive for big cities related to Adil. Culture, all of you got it correct. Culture. Culture. Yes, Amal, perfect, good. And only Amal got it correct. All right, which is negative here for small towns related to Umar, and Adil got it positive. Rahaf also, perfect, good. The shopping here, the shopping, and negative for small towns, Umar, and positive for big cities, Adil. Have you got it correct? Shopping. Good. Mustafa, perfect. And Amal and Rahaf, all of you, excellent. Facilities. 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 Mustafa, perfect. Good. Which is and negative for small towns and big cities, positive. Now, and also Rahaf, Amal, Omar, and excellent. Good. Now, how much percent would you change the understanding of the listening and the reading? How much percent comparing to the previous percent? Can you give me a percent of your understanding now after you have listened to the recorder and also the reading passage? Mustafa, 75%. Perfect. Mustafa, you were 50. You were 50%, and now 75. Excellent. Rahaf? Rahaf, 100%. All right. Perfect. Good. We hope so. All right. MashaAllah, that means, because I think you have said it's 0% before, right? Amal, 70. Perfect, Amal. That means good. A clear, progressive. Excellent. Now, let's take a look here at too enough, too much, and too many. Too, or enough, too much, and too many. Look at this man here. Look at this man here. He's saying it's a bit too big. Mister, can't let me get you a small. Alright, so the closing here is, who's that? Yes, Rahaf. Alright. Yeah, it's too big. Alright, let me explain more. Let me explain more. We use too with T-double-O to mean more than sufficient. More than sufficient. Sufficient means enough. More than sufficient, or more than enough, or more, or less than necessary. Alright? So it means more than sufficient, or more than enough, more or less than necessary. Examples. Number one, it's too late. It's too late to stop him. It's too late to stop him. Jerry, number two, was too young to watch the movie. Too young to watch the movie. Number three, there are too many people on this train. There is nowhere to sit. So there are too many people. Now, using too mean more than sufficient, or more or less than necessary. Okay. The opposite, which is enough, we use enough to mean sufficient. Alright? To mean sufficient, which is enough. So we use enough in negative sentences. Negative. Alright? Which means no. Sentences to mean less than sufficient or less than necessary. Less than necessary. Examples. Your clothes are big enough to fit me. Your clothes are big enough to fit me. Number two, you've done enough work. You can stop now. You've done enough work. You can stop now. Number three, you are not working fast enough. You are not working fast enough. You won't finish on time. You will not finish on time. So, this is the meaning. So, it's sufficient, which is enough. So we use enough in negative sentences to mean less than sufficient or less than necessary. All right. So this is our last exercise. What I want you to do is to complete or match and complete. Rahaf, what do you mean? What do you mean by your question? Are you talking about this exercise? I'm going to explain it more to you. You have to match here. For example, number 1, we can pay for this house. Jump here. This house is too expensive for us. All right? All right. Can you do number 2, please? He is too young to drive. He isn't. Can you do number 2? Can you answer number 2? He is too young to drive. He isn't to drive. Yes, Amal, Rahaf, or Mustafa, can you answer this? Number 2, he is too young to drive. Amal says he isn't too young to drive. Good try, Amal. Good try. Good try. What about you, Mustafa? Old enough. He isn't old enough to drive. Mustafa says he is too old to drive. All right, keep your answers and move to number 3. Our car won't fit in this garage. Our car won't fit in this garage. That means our car will not enter this garage. So our car is for this garage. Amal says too big. Mustafa says too big. All right. What about you, Rahaf? What's your answer? Because we're going to have the answers right after this slide. And we have, by the way, we have 2 S's. We have 2 stars for this. Rahaf says too big. Ah, you mean too big. All right, now go to number 4. I am really short of money. I am really short of money. That means I don't have enough money. Number 4, I don't money. Mustafa says I don't have enough money. All right, very good. Very good answers. 2, Amal says 2 span. 2 span. What about you, Rahaf? Still waiting for your answer. Your answer of number 4. Try to give it an answer, Rahaf, to the same answer of Amal's. All right. Let's take number 5. I can't eat all this cake. Do you know what cake means? Don't you? I can't eat all this cake. This cake is for me to eat. Mustafa says too much for me to eat. Amal says, Rahaf says too much. What about you, Amal? What's your answer? Too much. All right, now it's time to check the answers for this activity. Old enough. Old enough. We've got an S here. Number 2, he is too young to drive. He isn't old enough. Who has got this correct? I will go back to check the answers. Just give me a minute, please. Who said old enough? I'm trying to go back to check the answers of your old enough. Yes, Rahaf said old enough. Rahaf, all right. Also, all right, old enough, Rahaf, and I think only Rahaf. Yes, perfect. Rahaf, you've, all right. Our car won't fit in this garage. Our car is too big. Who answered this? All of you? Amal, yes, I will just go back a little bit to check answers. Yes, too big, too big. Yeah, I think all of you, mashallah, mashallah, all of you. What about number 4? Number 4, I'm really short of money. I don't have enough. I think Mustafa has got this correct. Mustafa. And I'm going just back to check answers. Have enough. Yes, Mustafa got it correct. Mustafa only got this correct. Thank you so much, Mustafa. It's been perfect. Have enough. For number 5, I can't eat all this cake. This cake is too much for me to eat. Who got it correct? I will go back to check answers. Too much. Yes, we've got Amal, Rahaf, and Mustafa. So all of you, for your nice answers of this activity. And this is our end of this lesson. If you have any questions, please do ask me. And it's really been wonderful lesson, and mashallah, beautiful answers, very nice participations. We've got excellent and wonderful students. We've got Amal, Muhammad, Rahaf al-Harbi, and Mustafa Mukhtar al-Bashir. Very excellent students. I'm really glad of you. And I'm proud of you. I wish you all the best. And if you have any questions, please ask me. Please do ask me if you have any questions. All right. I'll be happy to answer you. And thank you. These are our these are our references of the lesson. We've got Flying High Book 1 and Traveler Book 1, Mega Go Book 1. Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you. It's been really great. Good night and have a nice, wonderful time. Amal, thank you. Thank you for your answers, for your nice participation here. Rahaf, thank you and good night. I wish you all the best. All right. It's been great having you. All right. See you next time. Have a nice time. Thank you. Goodbye.